Yo, what is up guys, Crody here, back with another video. So today we are going to be reviewing your guys' teams inside of AnimeChampionsSimulator. Now, for the sake of shortening the video, I am going to be limiting these submissions down to submissions that were posted after Galaxy 2 released, because I do get a lot of viewer submissions, and it would take me an hour to go over every single one. So for the purpose of the video, I'm only going to be reviewing the ones that were after Galaxy 2, so if you submitted one before then feel free to submit one now, because I'm not going to be looking over those ones as of right now. All of these viewer submissions were submitted inside of my community Discord server, so if you guys haven't joined that, you guys can do that link in the description below. But with that out of the way, let's get straight into the video. Alright, so first up we have this guy here, and he has a full godly team already. He has a godly Takeshi, Retsuki, a Levi, a Makima, an Apex, a Gon, a Gojo, and a Jotaro. I believe all of these were meta at the time posting, and he had the best quirks at the time, which was Titan Celestial, and he also has some extra godlies that you guys can see here. And he told us that he has 5 wings and 3 hammers, and all of them were cosmic skins, and he had all of them on godly affixes. Nowadays that isn't very strong, but at the time that was a very top tier team. I would probably give this team a 9.2 out of 10, only because the Apex Fury isn't very good. If you replace that with the best one that he could have gone after that, I would give it a perfect 10 honestly, but because he's using an Apex, I'm going to have to limit it down to like a 9.3. He is on a bunch of leaderboards, which does make sense because this guy is extremely strong. He was stronger than I was. But yeah, let's move on to the next submission here. So this guy has a Timebreaker, a Retsuki, I'm assuming, a Kisuke, a Godly Gojo, a Gon, a Godly Apex, a Makima, and a Levi. He said that he's working on getting rid of the mythic quirks, and he has the cosmic skins. He just gotta get perfection. So obviously he has a few mythical skins, which isn't very good. Aside from that, his harmony, he should have harmony 4 from what I'm looking at here, and he's also using mythical skins, so I'm assuming he doesn't actually have any cosmics. Also, he said that he was going for perfection, which is pretty interesting because you are generally going to want to go for godly even at the beginning of update 9 when nothing was really known. For those reasons, I'm going to give him a 7.2 out of 10. The reasoning because he has some pretty bad quirks as well as a lack of godly cosmic wildcards. Also, he only has 2 godlies, which isn't really recommended, and some of the quirks on his cosmics are a little bit messed up. Next up, we have this picture here where he is a godly Takeshi with Black Hole Titan, a Ki with Titan Boxer, a Godly Apex with Celestial Titan, a Levi with Titan Black Hole, Makima with Titan Celestial, a Crimson Rose, a Mage, and another Crimson Rose. He did say that all of the stats are Omega 2 except for the scale units. Some of the team combinations at the time were not very good, but he does have 2 godlies. The Apex wasn't very good, and he also has 2 scale units, which I wouldn't really recommend. The Titan Boxer Retsuki is very solid though, but unfortunately the majority of the core combos on his team is going to be limiting his DPS very harshly. So for those reasons, I'm going to give this team a 6.8 out of 10. I can definitely see the potential if you fixed up the quirks and stuff, but at the time he doesn't have very many godlies, and the one he does have, the only other one he has is an Apex, which obviously isn't very good. But I digress. Let's move on to our next submission here. So this guy has a godly Makima with Titan Celestial, a godly Gojo with Titan Celestial, a Jotaro with Celestial Black Hole, a Levi with Assassin Celestial, a godly Gon with Celestial and Titan, a godly Denji with Celestial Black Hole, as well as a cosmic scaling unit Tailed Beast and a normal Retsuki here. So off the bat, I noticed that he has, hold up, I just noticed this guy also has a godly Tailed Beast. This guy's insanely lucky. What the heck? I didn't even notice that at first, which is very surprising. So he has 5 godlies on his team, which is very good. Unfortunately, the core combos are a little bit outdated, and he does have a godly mythic, which is very bad, but he did say he's going to replace that soon. The core combos, I'm sure he fixed them, but since that is not shown here, I'm not going to be able to rate based off that assumption. And he has this Levi here that has Assassin and Celestial, which is very bad because if you guys didn't know, Assassin and Celestial do not actually stack for boss damage and stuff, so for that reason that's a very bad combo. But he does have a few very strong godly cosmics as well as a godly Tailed Beast. I've only met 2 or 3 people who actually have that, so yeah, that's pretty insane. But I am going to give this team a 7.3 out of 10. If he fixed up his quirks and he replaced some of the units, then I can definitely rate it higher, especially with a unit as good as a godly Tailed Beast. But unfortunately, since I do not see that in this picture, I'm going to have to keep my rating in this. But yeah, let's go ahead and move on to the next submission. So this guy here, he has a godly Makima with Titan Celestial, a godly Jiraiya, a Levi, a white mustache, a godly Gojo, a godly Timebreaker, a Gon, as well as a Takeshi to finish it all off. So in total, he has 4 godly cosmics, all cosmic quirks by the way, and he has a tailed beast skin equipped on his white mustache. I can already see here that he had the meta quirks in update 9, and as you can see with his white mustache, he is transitioning to having actual builds. So he has 3 godly cosmics, and some of the quirk combos are pretty bad nowadays. It doesn't appear to me that he has many cosmic wildcard items. I'm thinking he might have 3 at most, and the rest might be mythics, because he does have that cat on that Gojo's shoulder, and I believe he also has a mythical Pochita on that Gon there. It's definitely a decent team, I will say that, but in today's standard it would be pretty weak, so for those reasons I'm going to give it a 6.9 out of 10. Next up with this photo here, he has a Titan Boxer Whitebeard, which is the best combo, I'd argue. He also has a Boxer Celestial Gi, which is the best overall for mage DPS. He also has a godly Gojo with Titan Celestial, a Levi, a Gon, a Makima, a Kisuke, and a godly Apex. Okay, so that Whitebeard there is going to be very strong. And that Giyu, I don't know if I would make my Giyu a mage, but it can work. He also has a godly Gojo with Titan Celestial, which isn't a very good combo anymore, so I will take away a few points for that. He has a Levi with Titan Celestial, and the Gon also has Titan Celestial, and he has a bunch of Celestial Black Hole units, and he's also using a godly Apex, which I don't recommend since it's pretty weak overall. Godly Apex hasn't been meta in a few updates, so I would recommend replacing that as soon as possible. But it's definitely a decent team, not as strong as some of the other ones I've seen today, but I'm going to give it a 6.2 out of 10 because it is lacking a lot, but with some improvements he can make it a pretty strong team. Next up, this guy has a Phoenix with Titan Celestial, Retsuki with Titan Assassin. He has a Takeshi, a Gon, a white mustache, a godly Aaron, and Ichigo, as well as a chainsaw guy. I don't know what that actually is. So right off the bat, you guys can see that he's using 2 mythicals, which really isn't recommended, and as well as that, he doesn't have a single unit besides Marco that actually has double cosmic quirks, which is really bad. And he is using mythicals, which I really wouldn't recommend. I mean, he is getting Harmony 4, but he is sacrificing a lot of potential damage for that. There's not really much to look at. It's a pretty weak team, so I'm just gonna go ahead and give it a 4.8 out of 10 for what I've seen visually. None of the quirk combos on his team are really meta besides the mythicals. I mean, I guess Titan and Boxer is pretty good. Not Titan, I guess Celestial and Boxer is pretty good, but then again, it is on a non-godly mythical, which is kind of like, So I'm gonna stick with my rating of a 6.2. I think that's a little bit generous, honestly. Next up with this photo here, this guy with a godly Takeshi, a Levi, which is also godly, a godly Retsuki, a godly Cursed Hunter with the Aizen skin, a godly Apex Fury, a godly Shanks, as well as a regular leader and a regular Gojo. So this guy has about 6 godlies on his team, and he is using these Aizen skins. I'm not sure what the ult time on Crimson is. I don't know if using the Aizen skin is actually better for him or not. But this team definitely has a lot of potential, but the main thing that's actually going to be bringing it down is that most of these core combos are generally pretty bad. He has a lot of Titan Celestial, which is pretty bad past update 9, and the ones where he does have Boxer, they aren't really meta. Like, he has his godly Retsuki, which should be a punch unit, I'm not gonna lie. He also has his godly Takeshi, which I would switch to Titan and Crimson. Like, Celestial and Boxer can be good for like start of hour, but overall it's not going to be very effective. So I would definitely switch those up, but for right now I'm gonna go ahead and give him a 7.1 out of 10. Don't get me wrong, this team definitely has a lot of potential, but if he does not change the quirks as well as the affixes and all of his units by then it's going to be pretty weak overall. Next up, we have an update from this leaderboard player where he has a godly Whitebeard. I don't know if he actually had that before, but he has a godly Whitebeard with Titan Boxer, which is the best combo. He also has a godly Levi, a godly Makima, I believe that is a Starlight Hammer as well, which tells me this player is automatically going to be pretty good. A godly Gon, a godly Takeshi, a godly Gojo, a godly Giyu, as well as a godly Jotaro, as well as some other godlies just for a quick flex you already know. I'm not gonna lie, this is actually one of the hypothetical strongest teams that I've ever seen. He left a message saying that all of them were with their corresponding quirks here. I don't know how we actually found out it was a meta so quick. I believe this actually was only a couple of days after, but he nailed most of these quirks perfectly actually. The only thing that I would change is I would make this Kisuke a mage because Kisuke is really good as a mage, but aside from that, everything is kind of perfect. I'm not gonna lie, this player definitely knows what they're doing. And not only that, but they're using the top 8 best godlies in the game. So you really can't make a team stronger than this unless you have godly scale units, and for that reason I'm going to give it a 9.5 out of 10. The only thing he could really change is making that Kisuke a mage unit. If he doesn't want to for other reasons, then that's acceptable, but generally I would assume that Kisuke is better with ability. The only teams that I would really give a 10 would be like the top 6 best units, and maybe with a couple of godly cosmic scale units, because that would be absolutely insane. But this is definitely a really insane team. This player is definitely top tier in the top 1%. Next up, this guy got a godly Jotaro, a Levi, a Makima, a godly Gon, a Whitebeard, a Giyu, a Kisuke, a godly Gojo, a godly Apex. Well, actually, I think he only has 7 equips here. Wait, no, that's 8. I was looking at it wrong. Okay, so he's not using the Apex. Alright, so that godly Jotaro is looking pretty good, as well as the Levi. The Makima, I would recommend switching that. I do believe it would be better as a Titan Crimson, but that's fine. He has a godly Gon with the quirks aren't very good. I would definitely recommend switching that. And the quirks on the Whitebeard aren't very good as well, unless Sky is a tournament player, which doesn't look like because he doesn't have very many godlies. The Retsuki is also not very good for this, and the Takeshi is also not very good. He has a bunch of units which has the highest burst melee damage possible, but I don't think his team is strong enough or built for tournaments, so it wouldn't really work that well for him. But he does have a godly Gojo with Black Hole and Crimson Demon, which is okay. Overall, it's a pretty decent team. You know, he has a few godlies here and there, but most of the quirk combos don't really match for his design that well, and for that reason I'm going to give it a 6.7 out of 10. Definitely a lot of potential, like I say, for the other teams, but he does have a lot to work on if he wants to max out his team. Next up with this photo here, this guy is a godly Gojo, a Whitebeard, a godly Retsuki, godly Old Sage, godly Levi, godly Gon, and a Makima, as well as a Takeshi. He has warrior on every boxing unit and magus on every mage unit, so that is obviously going to be the most optimal for most things. That Gojo is very good. You can't really change much about that. The Whitebeard is also very solid. The Retsuki is okay. I would recommend going boxer with that, but it doesn't really matter. He has a mage, godly Old Sage, and as well as the godly Levi. Obviously, I do agree with the core combos that he's used for his Levi and his Gon. The Makima is okay, but I would switch it if I were him. And he also has the mage Takeshi. This guy clearly knows what he's doing. The only thing that he's really missing out on is full godly, but he does have 6 of them, I believe. No, he has 5 of them. Okay. But he definitely knows what he's doing. Hopefully he does have all the godlies by now, but for that reason that he doesn't have all of them, I'm going to give it an 8.2 out of 10. In the future, I do believe he'll be really strong, but as of right now, there's not a lot to base off of. All right, next up, this player has a white mustache, a godly Levi, a regular Levi, an adult Gon, a Gojo, a Giyu, a Makima, as well as a Kisuke. So I'm going to go ahead and point out a few things immediately. First of all, his white mustache has sniper on it with boxer, which isn't very good. It also has a mythical on it, which I wouldn't really recommend. The Levi is also on mage, which I believe can work, but generally I wouldn't set your highest damage unit to mage. I would make your second highest DPS unit mage, but it's whatever. He also has 2 Levi's on his team, which is going to be damaging his harmony, unfortunately. The Gon has Titan and Sniper, which is okay. It's a pretty decent combo, but it's not going to be better than some of the Cosmic Core combos that we've seen. Gojo is pretty decent, but that core combo isn't very good. The Giyu has a Titan Sniper, which isn't very good. You should at least replace that Giant for Assassin. The Makima is okay, I guess, but I would switch that to Titan Crimson Demon in his circumstances. And he has the Kisuke, which is decently okay, I guess. I don't know if I'm being picky, but there is a lot to work on for this team, and for those reasons, I'm going to give him a 4.8 out of 10. It's kind of a mess. He doesn't have Harmony 4. The core combos are everywhere. It's just not very balanced, but hey, at least he got that Cosmic Luffy holiday skin, man. Last but not least, this guy has an Astolfo. I don't know what the actual unit is, but he has a godly Apex, a Gojo, a Levi, a Popstar, a Makima, another Popstar, and a godly Gon. So he has 2 godlies on his team, but one of the godlies is unfortunately Apex, which is going to be pretty weak. And he is using 2 Popstars, which can be good for things like the DPS dummy. But overall, generally, I wouldn't use that on your main team. This also has Crimson Demon and Mage, which I don't really know why he would go with that combo. And he is using Titan Celestial, which isn't really recommended. And the godly Gon also has some pretty bad quirks. So yeah, this team is definitely a work in progress. I believe he is a newer player, so I'm not gonna judge it that harshly. But objectively speaking, it's pretty bad. I would definitely suggest fixing a lot of the things I just pointed out. But I'm gonna go ahead and give this guy a 4.6 out of 10. I'm sorry, I gotta be honest. This whole team is kind of giving me like a weird vibe, man. But yeah, that is all the submissions I had today for this video. If you guys ended up enjoying or found some useful information from this video, then make sure to like and subscribe and let me know in the comment section down below. But I'm gonna go ahead and end this video off here. Thank you all for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.